Welcome. My name is Dr. Dwayne Chappelle, and I serve as the proud director of the City Department of Education and Early Learning. So I just want to thank you all for being here today. Can we just give some finger snaps just for being here? Um, we're actually gathered here today because Seattle's families, educators, and communities showed up at the ballot last November. And at the community meetings and conversations throughout the city, to say it clear that our children deserve more. And I'm loving looking around, seeing our young people either playing, pointing, and just being actively engaged today. So thank you, young folks, for being here. Want to thank Mercer, Aki. I'm not sure if Denny Middle School is here. Washington Middle School, thank you, Mr. King, Mike Brown, and others for making sure our young scholars are going to be here. But 80% of voters approved the $1.3 billion renewal of the Families Education Preschool and Promise Levy as part of the city's Every Child Ready initiative. 80% is not just a number, it's a mandate, a community declaration that every child, yes, I said it, every child in this wonderful city deserves the opportunity to thrive from birth to career. And I'm honored to serve as your MC today, to introduce our fabulous speakers that are gathered here and to welcome the community partners and young people that are here in attendance. But most importantly, to celebrate this next milestone of the FEPP levy. So what I'd like to do now is introduce our fantastic mayor, Wilson. Come on up and share some remarks. Let's give her a round, y'all.
Thank you, Dr. Chappelle. Well, I am very, very excited to be here today to announce the 6-year plan that implements the levy that was proposed by Mayor Harrell and passed by voters last year. The plan that I'm announcing today will direct the resources secured by the levy to provide additional support and opportunities for children and make Seattle more affordable for parents and families. Together, these investments can begin to change what it is like to raise a family in this city. We are building on the principles that underlie our free and universally accessible public K-12 education system by offering more of what our kids need to succeed. And we are making major investments in our children that will help to make the city more affordable for all the families who call Seattle home. We're talking about major new investments in childcare, preschool, afterschool and summer programs, mentoring, tutoring, healthcare, school meals, college and career pathways, and more. This is exciting stuff. These are investments that reduce costs, open doors, and make Seattle a better place to live, work, and raise a family. There is a lot in this plan, and we will have all of those details available for you all. But I want to focus today on just a few of the key new investments that we're making. First, this plan expands the Seattle preschool program so that more classrooms can operate all day, all year long, including through the summer. The Seattle preschool program already serves thousands of children with high-quality learning environments, setting them up for success in kindergarten and beyond. All 3- and 4-year-olds in Seattle are eligible, and tuition is free for most Seattle families. This program is an incredible success, but there's a problem. Many of these programs end at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Most people's jobs do not end in the mid-afternoon. So working parents are forced to scramble for additional care to cover the full workday. Often programs also close during the summer, even though most parents still have to work and their schedules don't change. This creates the kind of logistical scramble that parents know all too well. And it's not just a hassle. It can mean fewer hours at the job, on the job for parents, less opportunity to learn during the summer for kids, and just a general feeling that raising a family is much harder than it needs to be. Expanding the preschool program to serve kids all day and all year is an overdue step to recognize the realities faced by working parents, and I am so glad that we are finally making it happen. Yeah, glad for that. In addition to this, we are also increasing the support provided through the childcare assistance program, which makes childcare more affordable for thousands of Seattle families. And we are investing in the childcare workforce by supporting the providers, the teachers, and the family childcare workers who make early learning possible. Second, I'm very excited about this one. We are going to provide free school meals to every student in every school. Beginning this fall, my plan will extend free breakfast and lunch so that every student at every Seattle public school gets nutritious meals and starts the day ready to learn. This means no stigma, no eligibility bubble that squeezes out struggling families just because they miss some threshold set by the federal government. K through 12 education is free and universal, and the basic nutrition that you need to be ready to learn is going to be free and universal too. Yes. That means a better start for kids, a better learning environment for teachers, and fewer groceries that families have to buy to keep their kids healthy. Hungry kids have a harder time focusing and a harder time succeeding in class. By making sure that food is available and accessible to all, we are making a serious investment in the long-term health of our communities. And if you're staying for the reception, you will get a taste of what a big deal this is, because our partners at Seattle Public Schools have provided the catering. Third, we are going to provide free mental health care to all Seattle teens and young adults, open up new school-based health centers, and expand mentorship opportunities. We know that youth mental health is a growing concern, but accessing care can be difficult and expensive. Today, that changes for good. I'm proud to announce my plan will provide access to free mental health supports for all Seattle teens and young adults for the 6-year life of this levy. Yes. We are also opening up additional school-based health centers which will provide students with free primary care, dental health services, and more. And we're addressing the whole child by also creating access to mentorship opportunities which connect students to mentors from organizations with established trust and cultural connection to the communities that they serve. Mentors will also collaborate with school staff to support youth reentry, reduce chronic absenteeism, and more. By connecting young people with counselors, clinicians, and community-based services, we can make sure that every young person has a chance to be seen, heard, and receive the support that they need. And fourth, we are opening new pathways to good jobs after school. Yes. This plan will expand and strengthen young people's access to good jobs, whether or not they choose to go on to college. This includes new apprenticeship programs that connect young people to high-demand trades, from cement masons to maritime training. And the Seattle Promise program, initiated by Mayor Durkin, will continue to provide every Seattle Public School graduate with tuition-free access to Seattle colleges, as well as wraparound support to make sure they can succeed and graduate. We are going to make sure that every young Seattleite has a clear, supported path to a living wage career. Seattle is a beautiful city with so much to offer. I might be biased, but I think that Seattle is the best city in the world. But we know that it can be way too difficult to raise a child here. The affordability crisis has hit families especially hard. Groceries are more expensive than ever. Childcare is more expensive than ever. It's tough to find housing in the city that offers enough space for a family, and if you do, it's a good bet that rent is going to be more expensive than ever too. There's a lot that we can do to make Seattle a great place to live, work, and raise a family. The investments that we're making today take a big step in that direction. And we're also sending a message to parents who are trying to make it here. This is your city. We want you raising your families here. And we're doing everything we can to make it easier for you to afford to build a life here. Thank you.
Good job, man. Thank you, Mayor, for your announcement. So what I have the pleasure now of doing is, before I introduce this next speaker, I just want to call someone out that's not speaking today. I thought I saw Councilmember Lynn here somewhere. Oh, okay. Just want to give Councilmember Lynn a shout out. Just want to say hello, welcome, thank you for everything. This is our one of our phenomenal council members. But it's now my honor to introduce our next speaker, which is Councilmember Rivera, who represents Council District 4 and is the chair of the Libraries, Education, Neighborhoods Committee, which will review this FEPP legislation. I've had the pleasure of working with Councilmember Rivera for quite some time, and I can tell you all single-handedly that Councilmember Rivera is deeply passionate about the FEPP investments for Seattle's kids, for our families, and she's even more particularly passionate about the new Trades to Path work, which carries on her father's legacy as a welder. So without further ado, Councilmember Rivera, come on up.
All right, thanks. I'm a little shorter than Dwayne, and then Mayor Wilson too. All right, can you hear me, or did I turn this off?
Yeah, turn it off. But
Did I turn it off?
Say something.
Hello? No? Hello? No?
Test. Test.
All right. I don't even want to touch it now.
There you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Director Chappelle and Mayor Wilson, and good afternoon and buenas tardes, everyone. I am so excited to be here, and I'm so excited that the weather is held up for us so we can do this event outside. I am so happy to talk about the implementation of the Families Education, Preschool, and Promise Levy that former Mayor Harrell and I worked on to put on the ballot, and that Mayor Wilson is presenting today, but more importantly that you all generously supported and voted in this past November. This renewal will continue or expand prior levy investments in childcare, award-winning preschool, not just preschool, but award-winning preschool, K through 12 academic, physical, and mental health supports so that students have the help they need to learn and grow, and the very successful Universal Seattle Promise program. The Promise program, as Dr. Chappelle mentioned, is really meaningful to me. Because I was here when Mayor Jenny Durkin proposed this as part of the last levy, and I was so grateful to have the opportunity to work with Dr. and Director Dwayne Chappelle on its implementation. Thank you also to Chancellor Rosie, who had a hand in the 13th year. Where's Chancellor Rosie? She had a hand in the 13th year, which is actually the precursor to the Seattle Promise, and then became the Seattle Promise. So as I always say, when we work together, we have better outcomes. And you see, we've named here people from prior administrations and current administrations working together on behalf of families and kids in Seattle. With each levy renewal and its investments, we identified additional areas where we can continue to take care of our kids in Seattle. In this case, the department, working with Seattle Public Schools, and shout out to Superintendent Ben Schuldener, where's Superintendent? There he is, will work together to re-engage disconnected youth. We know that kids are most successful when they consistently attend school. These investments in mentorship, in absenteeism interventions, and reentry support will help students stay engaged and stay in school. And along with supporting kids who are struggling to stay engaged in school, all kids need support in ensuring they're able to show up in school well fed and ready to learn. Mayor Wilson and the department, with my support, are proposing utilizing FEPP dollars as bridge funding to provide universal public school meals. This was Governor Ferguson's initial commitments to kids in this year's past state budget, but will not begin in 2029. And I really thank you, Mayor Wilson, for making this possible in Seattle sooner and not waiting till 2029. Lastly, but equally importantly, oh, and I want to mention, thank you for mentioning the path to trades because it's something that is very near and dear to my heart. My dad was a welder in a factory, and for me, it made all the difference in our family. We grew up very low income in the Bronx, in New York. I'm Puerto Rican, and because my dad had a union job, we were able to have a roof over our head and food on the table. And because of that, the path to trades is so critical to me. It is another opportunity for kids that don't want to enter a 4-year college degree or a 2-year college degree, which associate's degree, which Promise gives them. They can do a path to trades instead. And I am so grateful to the Seattle colleges for their partnership in the path to trades program. Yes, we should really recognize all the great work that's being done at South Seattle College on the path to trades. And to our very many of our labor partners who are here, who really support this effort, it is an important effort. And so this is, because of this effort, kids will be able to do, it's an expanded path to trades and also be able to enter, as Director Chappelle and Mayor Wilson said, in apprenticeship programs. So I am really pleased about that. When I started in 2024, it was the thing that I talked to Director Chappelle about right away when we were envisioning the renewal of this levy. So I'm just so grateful for this program. And then lastly, but equally importantly, is the evaluation part of the implementation and evaluation plan, which will ensure these investments are actually helping our kids. This plan will provide metrics to continuously measure and track the outcomes and successes of the levy-funded programs, or help us make changes if what we're doing is not working. And I was just talking to the superintendent earlier. When things are not working, we need to make changes in support of our kids to ensure that they are successful. And as you know, evaluation is the essential piece to that. The city and the taxpayers need to have confidence in our investments and know that we are delivering on the promises that we're making to our families and our kids. A robust evaluation plan allows us to both show our work, show our positive outcomes, and it'll let us know quickly if changes need to be made. So I'm so excited to be here in support of the implementation plan and of this 36th year of this levy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Rivera. I guess I better move this up a little bit. So now, what I would like to invite is I would like to invite 3 individuals to the microphone. Martha Diaz, who is the director at the El Centro Jose Marti Child Care Center in Columbia City. Also, Brenda Figueroa and Olaf Onsi May. I think I got it right. Onsi May, who are parents of a 2-year-old Zavi. These individuals are here to speak to the importance of high quality childcare and the importance of helping parents afford that care. That's what Mayor mentioned earlier. So, we are proud to implement the Child Care Assistance Program and grants to support child care workers. So, first, we'll hear from Martha. Come on up. Is that good enough for you right here?
Yes. Thank you. Buenas tardes. My name is Marta Diaz. I have been working at El Centro de la Raza for 28 years. When I first started working at El Centro de la Raza, I was a young single parent with very little experience in education. With the support from my community and some funding from the city, I was able to continue pursuing higher education. Some years later, I also benefited from the City of Seattle childcare subsidy, so I would be able to continue working while my children were at childcare. I currently hold a master's degree in bilingual early childhood education, and I'm very proud to say that now I am the site director at Jose Marti Child Development Center at Four Amigos. I continue serving children, youth, and families from minority populations to ensure that healthy and high quality early childhood education while working with others to enhance childcare through that community. My commitment as a childcare director is for our children to learn about social, political, and cultural contests within the children and families, their lives, how they grow, and their developments, and model strategies for supporting children in resisting bias, rejecting negative culture messages, and developing their own sense of cultural self. I believe that it takes advocates, teachers, children, and parents working together to build a community and work towards justice and peace. Advocating constantly for parents to have access to high quality subsidies and to make change in our society. Thank you, City of Seattle, for providing childcare assistance for working families. Your support reflects your commitment to the community needs for the future. Gracias.
Hola, mi nombre es Brenda Figueroa García.
Hi, this is Brenda Figueroa Garcia.
Soy la mamá de Xavi Figueroa, un niño muy feliz y curioso y quien es lo mejor que me ha pasado en la vida.
I am the parent of Javi. He is
Curioso, muy curioso.
a very curious child and is the best thing that has happened to me in my life.
Nosotros somos participantes en el programa CCAP de la ciudad de Seattle.
We are CCAP participants for the City of Seattle,
Quien nos da acceso a childcare y el cual es desafiante en esta economía.
which gives us childcare, which is very hard for us in this economy
Y en esta ciudad tan costosa.
and in this costly city.
Estamos agradecidos por ser parte del programa,
We are very happy to be part of this program,
ya que sin él estaríamos batallando aún más.
Without it, we'd be struggling even more.
Me gustaría proponer a los líderes de esta ciudad
I would like to propose to the leaders in this community
a invertir en más programas como este,
to invest in more programs like these,
porque más familias como la nuestra necesitan acceso.
because more families like us need and deserve these programs and access
A este tipo de recursos para que sus hijos puedan vivir y prosperar en Seattle.
so their children can so they can thrive in Seattle.
De igual manera que otras familias que viven en esta hermosa ciudad.
Equally as other families that live in the city.
Gracias al Centro For Amigos y al programa CCAP
Thank you to El Centro de la Raza and for the City of Seattle CCAP
que le ha dado a nuestro hijo y a nuestra familia la habilidad de vivir feliz.
to be able to give our child
La habilidad.
the ability to be happy
En esta ciudad.
in the city.
Por favor, hagan más cosas para las comunidades inmigrantes y refugiadas.
We ask you to please consider and do more for our families and refugee families.
Stop. Gracias.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Olaf Nsisingme. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I really appreciate the opportunity for my family. My son's over there. He's 2 years old. He's got quite a lot of energy. I think the most thing I got to say is that, yes, this is a great step towards a big problem in our city, affordability. But I ditto to everything my partner said. And also, like, yeah, there's so many challenges in the city, and just a small investment in our refugee. We come from a refugee immigrant community, and we just would like to see more investments, not just in programs like these, but in, just access to resources, more access to resources in the city. We're lucky. We have the privilege to be in this situation because we have network, we have community, but there's a lot of folks out there that aren't seen, that don't have access to resources, and I think we have to do more to create resources and do more to provide access to resources. That's basically all I got to say. I love this city. I want to stay in the city and exist in the city, and I think a lot of families that come from our community want the same thing. And we just call on city leaders, officials, and otherwise to make a bigger investment in our communities. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So to try to speed us up a little bit, so next we have Superintendent Ben and Sabi Yoon. Please join me to the podium. Superintendent Ben is, as you all know, new to the city. I think he's been here less than 90 days, but he's been doing a phenomenal job. I'm happy to know that he's already a big fan of the FEPP levy. This is my first actually opportunity to do so publicly. But so thank you on behalf of the city of Seattle. Looking forward to continuing to support you. Sabi, you all, is one of our next leaders. She's fantastic. She's on her way to California to college coming up soon, but Sabi's also a SPS student board representative and as well on the youth commission. So Sabi, we'll let you go first, and Soup will go to you.
Thank you for the introduction, Director Chappelle. My name is Sabi Yoon. I am a youth leader in Seattle. I currently serve as one of 3 student representatives for the Seattle Public Schools and also a youth commissioner for the Seattle Youth Commission. Last spring, I stood with many of our committee members here today when we announced the renewal of the FEPP levy. Over the past year, I've been involved in helping plan how the levy investment will be allocated for our communities and schools in collaboration with DL. There are many programs this levy is funding, but I want to specifically highlight its investment towards school lunches and nutrition. As a member of the City of Seattle's School Meals and Food Education Working Group, we have been working hard to ensure that student voice, community input, and equity are centered in shaping our recommendations. Through youth listening sessions, community engagement, we heard clearly that food access, education, and quality are what matters deeply to students. Based on that, our working group focused on three key priorities, 2 of which are being funded by levy. First, working towards universal free school meals so every student has consistent access to food without stigma or barriers. And second, improving the quality of school meals by improving staff capacity and SPS culinary services so meals are fresher, more culturally relevant, and aligned with student preferences. We are very grateful that the FEPP levy will be funding these priorities and that the levy investments will also support SPS in implementing a universal school meals district-wide, aligning with what we have been advocating for as a working group. These investments will not only serve meals, but support student health, reduce food insecurity and waste, and help build a more equitable local food system that supports both students and the Seattle community as a whole. Lastly, I want to shed light on something I heard from many students during listening sessions. Food security is safety. When we talk about safety, we often think about physical security, but safety means different things to many different students and communities. After speaking with students from diverse backgrounds, we learned that being safe can simply not very simply, but can mean knowing if they will have a food next thing on their table. It can mean maybe the only meal they have is at school. One of my greatest mentors told me that your budget is your value statement because what you fund shows what you value. And I think this work shows that we are choosing to prioritize students and their needs. So I just want to thank all of our community partners and leaders for standing with our students and staying committed to this work. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, give it up to Sabi. That's awesome. This is what SPS does, right? So I want to say thank you. Thank you to the mayor, thank you to the council, thank you to Deal, thank you to everybody who is here to make this possible, and really also to the taxpayers. The fact that you voted overwhelmingly to support this is wonderful. As Dwayne said, and as you all know, I am not from here. The idea that the city is giving more money to the schools, to the children, because they think that is what's important, that is incredible. This does not happen in other places. And I just want to say thank you to all of you. I see our board president. Thank you to the board for being so supportive of what we're doing. Thank you to the students that were here. Really, I just get to say thank you. But I want to say also, think about what we're talking about. Thank you to the Chancellor. We're going to have the Seattle Promise. How amazing is that? We're going to have free lunch. We're going to have all these wonderful supports. I see laborers here. Thank you to the Teachers Union for being in our classrooms and in our schools, all of our labor partners. But what I'm hearing is all of these amazing things are happening in SPS. So it's time for everybody to come back to SPS. We've got almost 20,000 kids who live in the city who don't come to our schools. Now you have even more reason to come back to our schools. Our schools are doing an incredible job. We have some of the greatest programs in the country. And I've now visited, I think, 92 out of our 106 schools in the last 90 days. And every place I go, I see incredible teachers, incredible educators, great children, great families. And I know that our schools are great. And I just want to say thank you for this extra investment that's going to make our schools even better. And I say to everybody in SPS, come on back. Everybody in Seattle, come on back. We're going to be the greatest public education system in America. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So these are some powerful words, what he just said, aren't they? That was very powerful. The helicopter is also powerful too, but we have made it to the career speakers, the ready to launch speakers who will share a vision of college and career pathway and access to our Seattle students. I had the pleasure earlier to speak with Devon. So Devon, Chancellor Rosie, please join me up here. And as you all are coming up, Devon Woods is an SPS graduate. Any Cleveland Eagles in the house? Any Cleveland Eagles? All right, he's a Cleveland Eagle, amazing school. He's going to share a little bit about, he's a cement mason here to share a little bit of story with us. And Chancellor Rosie is the Chancellor of Seattle Colleges. I think Councilmember Rivera mentioned earlier the founder of the 13th year scholarship when you were the president at South Seattle. So these are both fearless advocates, but without further ado, Devon, I'm going to pass it to you.
Appreciate it. Sorry for the appearance. I came straight from work, but I understand how important this levy is for a lot of children. So, good afternoon. Excuse me. Oh, can't hear me? Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. My name is Devon Woods. I'm a former student at Cleveland High School, and I'm currently a member of Cement Mason and Plasters, Local 528, on the final stretch of my training to become a journey-level cement mason through the Washington State Mason Apprenticeship Program at South Seattle Community College in Georgetown. I am honored to have this opportunity to be here with you today and talk about the City of Seattle's FEPP levy's New Path to Trade opportunity, which connects Seattle high school graduates with the apprenticeship program at Seattle colleges like the Cement Masons. During my apprenticeship, I've learned many different skills, from how to place and finish concrete, different types of equipment operation, workplace safety, math processes, along with critical skills like time management, reliability, and leadership, all while earning wages and being a provider. This trade has taught me skills that no one can take away from me. Beyond all these things, I feel, though, that many lessons I've gained access to a career. This career has provided me with a living wage. Apologize, probably my wife. Excuse me. This career has provided me with a living wage, retirement, and health insurance for my family. This kind of opportunity sets people up for a lifetime of stability and success. I really wish a program like Path to Trades has been available when I graduated. With this kind of program, I could have started sooner and got a head start on building my future. These reasons are why I'm excited today about the City of Seattle's investment in these pathways, which will help future young people in our community connect with strong union careers that will allow them to earn while they learn and build a real life for themselves and their families through good union trade careers. Seattle Public Schools and the Seaman Mason apprenticeships have both been critical to my story, and I hope that the path to the trades, that they can play the same role for thousands of Seattle students in the years ahead. Thank you for this chance to be heard.
Thank you, Devon. And my name is Dr. Rosie Ramondo Cherensap. I serve as the Chancellor for the Seattle Colleges. As has been mentioned a couple of times, I've been around a little while. I was very proud to be a part of 2007, 2008, the launch of what was once called the 13th year program at South Seattle College, which started this initial concept that maybe we can make some decent change if we guarantee high school to a class of students. And it has been my life's honor, my career's honor, really, to see how this has evolved into something that the entire city has embraced, that the city, along with the public school system and families, have really rallied around as a really fitting bookend for the FEPP levy work that really seeks to support young people from preschool all the way to college. College is really all about what comes after it, and whether it is heading off into a transfer degree, which our students do successfully on a regular basis. Our graduates that go through from the Seattle colleges that transfer over to the University of Washington, for example, perform higher, get higher GPAs than the students that start there on average, as an example. And while we're very proud of that, yes, thank you. We have always had trades programs and workforce development programs in the Seattle colleges. In fact, we are the largest apprenticeship provider in the state of Washington. We produce about a third of the state's apprenticeships. So another shout out to our cement mason partners that are here, because they are an incredible example of what partnership looks like when we can come together and really seek to meet industry needs and really achieve some wonderful outcomes for our citizens and our neighbors. So thank you to Devon, and thank you to our partners that have been a part of this with us every step of the way. We're really excited about what we've been able to accomplish in our first time being a part of the FEPP levy. We are reaching 70% of the city's high school graduating classes. 70% of students are applying to the Seattle Promise program across the city. That's incredible. That's more than 2,500 Seattle public high school seniors. We are clearly meeting a need and a desire that's out there, and really expanding the concept of access to higher education beyond the other wonderful opportunities that we have in the city, just up the road at UW, for example. But community colleges stand in the place in between transfer to the universities and wonderful fields in workforce education and in the skilled trades. And I'm really thrilled to have the support of city council members such as City Councilmember Rivera, the mayor's office, Deal, of course, and so many others who have supported the concept of Seattle Promise and what we can provide for students. We're really delivering on that promise. We're meeting real demand from students and from families, and we turn that into real outcomes, connecting students to education and careers that allow them to stay and work here in Seattle. We're really thrilled to be a part of it, to continue to be a part of it. We have well-established partnerships, as I mentioned, with the city, the state, and trade unions, and we're driven by student success in the Seattle colleges, and we define that by consistent advising, those wraparound supports, financial support beyond tuition, and clear pathways from enrollment all the way through to employment or transfer, if that's what our students seek to do. But access alone does not drive outcomes. Structure and direction do as well. These programs lead to real careers, whether it's electricians, welders, cement masons, plumbers, aircraft mechanics, IT specialists, healthcare technicians, and many, many more. We know we have high quality programs. We know we're invested in skilled trades here in Seattle, and we know we have experienced faculty and strong industry partnerships that continue to support that. We want to keep these pathways clear for students, because it hasn't always been clear. If students, so many highly educated people in the city of Seattle, it's not always clear to a student what opportunities they have in the skilled trades if they aren't exposed to it, for example. And so it's really important that Path to Trades is really going to help increase that exposure to skilled trades from a young age. Students as young as 9th grade being able to look and see what they can do in this city, in addition to the many IT careers and healthcare careers that are out here for them. and take that all the way to, by the time they reach 12th grade, they will have what they need to make informed decisions about their future. So expanding horizons for opportunity early on so that students can feel ready to choose and engage when they enroll in Promise. We know that there are more trades jobs in Seattle than there are trained workers. So we are hoping and planning with Path to Trades to close that gap. We're connecting students to training and training directly to jobs. We're elevating programs that we know are in high demand within the state and are projected to continue to be high demand. We are achieving public good. Higher education is often thought as a private good, something that an individual does for themselves. I have known as a first-generation college student that that was never the case. It was always for my family and for my community as well. A lot of nodding in the audience because that was your experiences too. We know that when we have come together across the city to seek to make college access, including access to skilled trades programs and workforce development programs, available to all, by lowering barriers, we are not just improving one student at a time, we are improving the whole community and the whole city with us. And so please, I'm pleased to be the bookend for this as we represent the tail end of the Promise program along the pathway from preschool. But I just want to punctuate my remarks by saying we are achieving public good. We are changing our city's trajectory for the future, and I couldn't be more proud to serve alongside all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Devon. Thank you, Chancellor. So I'm actually going to call Marissa up here to close us out. I know we're over time, but before I do, I just want to say this is exactly what it's about. We have elected officials here. We have appointed officials such as myself, board director Top, community member, former elected Don Mason. But it's all about us collectively coming together and making sure that we are doing what's best for our kids. So I want to thank you all for that. Mayor, before we ask Marissa to take some questions, I'm going to turn it over to you. Would you like to close us out with anything?
Thank you, Dr. Chappelle. I'll just say thank you again, everyone, for being here. The implementation of this levy is going to be such a significant step forward for children, for families in Seattle. And also, we know that it's not the only step we need to take. There is more work to be done. I, as mayor, am committed to making Seattle not just the best city in the world, but the best city in the world to raise a family in. And we know that that's a tall order, and it's going to take all of us. So just thank you all for your commitment, and much work to come in the years ahead. Thanks.
All right, thank you everyone. My name is Marissa Roussel with the Department of Education and Early Learning. That concludes our program of speakers. So we have a couple minutes for questions. I'd like to invite our colleagues in the media if anyone has a question. Sure.
There was a lot, Connor Nash, South Seattle Emerald, there was a lot of talk about the trades and whatnot, but currently the Wood Technology Center off of 23rd may or may not be, has funding challenges associated with. Is any of this levy going to go into making sure that the Wood Technology Center is open, since there has been such a need for carpenters?
Yeah, thank you for the question about the Woods Technology Center. That is not a planned investment as part of this levy at the moment, and I'd invite you to talk to other colleagues here, folks from the colleges. They can share more information with you. Yeah. Any other questions?
Could you explain how the levy priorities were organized and
Sure. So I believe the question is about how the levy investments are organized. So it's a 6-year spending plan. Many of the investments are starting this year in 2026 calendar year, as well as school year 26-27, and some will start in the second year. Okay. And then
how was the priorities picked?
Can you hear me? Priorities for spending were informed by community engagement, as well as a continuation of existing investments in the 2018 levy. I can speak with you more after. I just want to hear from one more reporter. Thank you. Claire?
Claire from the Seattle Times. I wanted to ask about the Seattle Preschool program. The effort to offer classes during the summer and for a full working day, is that going to reduce the amount of additional slots that the program will be able to offer? I think the estimate last year was 600. So if so, by how many slots?
Yeah, so Claire is asking a question about the Seattle Preschool program expansion that the mayor spoke to. So we are adding 600 seats over 6 years of the levy, and we are now introducing a third model. So the program will continue to offer the school year 6-hour model that's primarily implemented by Seattle Public Schools. We'll also continue our year-round 6-hour model that provides services into the summer. And what is new is a year-round 10-hour day model. All of that is achievable as part of adding 600 slots. So there's no reduction in seats as part of that proposal. So that's all the time we have for questions at this moment. I'd like to invite all our speakers up to take a photograph together. Both myself as well as representatives and elected officials will be here if reporters want to do pull-asides or get any additional quotes. And everyone is invited to join us for a reception inside Yesler Community Center. We have refreshments provided by Seattle Public Schools, and we'll be there until 6 p.m. Thank you very much.
All right.